You can. You can actually do that. In the, if you right-click on the clip in the properties,
Yeah.
in the speed area, advanced, you can like speed that up. What's the other thing I did? I don't remember. I had another thing where I had one going faster than the other, and it was trouble. You get different speeds, and they're sort of pushing on each other. But you can control the speed a little bit in there. And you can resize these too. Oh, that's how you control speed easier. So if I resize this down small, it's going to do the whole thing still. Right? We're just going to go faster. Here, I'll play it, and that'll. So yeah, there you go. It always plays the whole clip in the time you allot it. So yeah, that's how you control speed. So it's important to have these the same length. So if this one is 5 seconds long, this one needs to be 5 seconds long, or they'll have different speeds, and it won't look right. That's a good question. All right, so well, let's fix this one. We can do undo. Get it back over there. So let's say you want to add now a music track in here. You just add a track, and I've got the lullaby up here. And it's the same as any other one. You just drag it and drop it. So I probably should have pushed that behind the title. I can hear the other one behind it. So I really want to disable the audio on the main content. So I can go down to the main one, right-click it, properties, and say, all right, I don't want audio from that one. I just want the lullaby in there. And play. Or the main. And there's none of the music there. You can hear it. So that's really easy to do. And you can clip those just like any other. I've sort of run out of tracks here. You can have as many tracks as you want. It helps to have a big screen. And the other thing that you do, like here, if I want to go to the end of that thing and cut it back or something, is scrolling in and out with this bar here. So I'll just drag this to the right, and now I can see everything that's on there. But my little video tracks are very small. You can zoom in and out until it's where you need it. So, I'm going to go to here so I can see this whole thing and say, all right, I really need to chop that sound off at the end or something like that. Yeah, so I actually went too far. It really helps to have a big screen if you've got a lot of tracks. Let's see what else am I cover here. So we can actually create a title screen. The credits, as far as like a scrolling credits, you normally think of credits, it's the same thing as the bottom scrolling stuff. You just make a new title and you pick, let's see which one you pick. I think I usually go with the solid color and make my own. So we'll go ahead and do that. This is how you make your own custom title. They've got a lot of built-in ones, but a lot of times you want to make your own. So we'll do a credits real quick because that's easy. So you say create new title. I'm going to call this credits. And then you go to use advanced editor. And this is where it goes out to Inkscape. Which, if you don't know what Inkscape is, it's an SVG editor, so a vector image editor, sort of like Illustrator if you're from the Adobe world. But it is free and open source. And so now it's created a black background the size of our video, and we can do whatever we want in here. So if I want text, it's down here. I only know that because I've done it a lot. Here's your font and your size. So, you can do starring, whatever, and you got to change the color of the font to see it. You might push that up bigger. So there's the big one. You can do whatever you want. Oops. So to make the credits, you do it in the same way. You have to make layers of these things, and then you'll animate them from bottom to top to scroll like a traditional movie. Once you're all done in here, you hit save and close it, and then apply here, and it pushes it out there as a new clip. So now I've got this. Here a little bit. Oops, I'm going to go the other way. There we go. So if I take my credits and I'll stick them on the end here, and then animate them, right click, animate, bottom to top. Scrub all the way out there. You can see there, scrolls top to bottom. So if it's longer than what you need, you have to layer them in that same way. Okay. Now once you're in Inkscape, you can make cool titles like this one. This is actually, I'll just pull it out here. So that's the same thing. That's just an image I created in Inkscape, and then I put a sound file on it, and then I ripped it out to a video file, so I can throw that in front of all my videos very easily. I don't have to redo it every time. So it's really nice and easy to use it. You have a learning curve with Inkscape, but putting text on there is pretty simple. Once you start drawing shapes and things, it can get pretty intimidating. What else we got? Look at trimming, transitions, credits. I think we covered everything. So I'll open it up to questions. If anybody has any.
If you get multiple channels, whatever track, can you do like more on one track, like just load them up and then bring transitions to the same track?
You can't transition across the same track. If a lot of times I'll use that though. I'll just do a fade out on one clip and then fade in on the next. You know, it'll fade out and then fade in, and it's like a transition. It's pretty good. But if you want one of the fancy transitions, you have to layer them and overlap them, because the transition occurs in that overlap.
Now, you get a lot of clips, a lot of tracks, I can't tell from here, but is it labeled what it is?
No, but I'm not sure if you can name those. You can turn them on or off, and you can turn the sound on and off here, I believe, for the whole track. It doesn't look like you can name the tracks, so you just have to remember what's in them. Track 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually end up with just like 2 tracks, unless I'm doing scrolling stuff. And then the tracks really add up, because you can't go down below until you're at the very end of those scrolls. Usually I'll just have 1 or 2 and transition, you know, up here and then go over and transition down to the next one, because you can reverse that arrow, and that's fine. It's really just the scrolling, the layering, where you need to pay attention to multiple tracks. I guess the final thing is exporting. Back here real quick. So if you're going to use it again in the videos, export it to MP4, MPEG-4, and the FAC audio, which is, you know, what you use in the other ones. If you're actually going to distribute it, put it on YouTube or whatever, you probably want to use H.264 video. Now you can do both of those in Openshot, but it is a little bit tricky. So let's say we're done with this, we'll save it, and then go to Export Video. And this is a little bit tricky in here. There's built-in profiles for it, but they're not very useful as far as I can tell. I always go to all formats and just set it all up myself. The target here is your container. So I want to use an MP4 container if I want to reuse this for the MP4 with H.264 if I want to distribute. You can do these other ones too if you want, MOV, FLV. And then in the video profile, usually pick the same size as your original project, so DV NTSC in my case. And then quality, you have to sort of play with quality to get it very good. So now I picked the quality. Now ideally you're supposed to be able to take this and just say export and it'll be good. But I always run into a little issue. If you go into advanced, you can see the settings that it's picked based on those simple settings. And these look okay, but this is an issue. I've never had a lot of luck with AC3 audio, and I think YouTube just kicks it right out. It just leaves the audio out if you do that. So you have to set this down to, I always use lift back. Where is it? There it is, lift back. That's what I always use because I've found it works pretty much everywhere. 192K is pretty good for what I do. And you'll find if you pick also the MPEG 4 profile, still got to go through this and reset up EVNTST.
Can you save your settings now in the profile? Or later?
I think you can save settings somewhere. I saw it somewhere one time and now I can't seem to find it. So but now see, for that one it's picked to MP3, so you got to go back in and I change it to lift back. The video format's right, video codec's right, and this bit rate and quality you can play with. The higher the quality, the longer it takes to rip, and the bigger the file size is. But you may not notice differences between different bit rates, so sort of do it at a high quality and then try it at a little lower quality and see if you notice a difference, and if you don't, you may be able to use that lower one, and it may make a file size difference too. And they have sort of suggestions, 5 megs a second, that's about DVD quality. Here's HDTV, 40 megabytes per second is Blu-ray quality. Those make pretty big files. A lot of times I'll just use the DVD quality.